Good evening and welcome back to ENA, your official bedtime station for the nation. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Ford Motors. Stay tuned for an official message from our sponsor later tonight. Thank you for joining us for another segment of The Great Gatsby. This week we finally meet our mysterious Mr. Gatsby. So sit back in a comfy chair, turn up the volume, and enjoy the adventure that lies ahead of us. The house was lit from the ground to the stars, and music spilled out from the windows. Willowy figures of women danced vigorously between crowds of men. Alcohol flowed like honey and swirled behind their eyes. Everyone was roaringly drunk. I stood away from the crowd in the buzzed haze, and out of the corner of my eye, a figure started towards me. "Hello, Jordan?" I step towards her and take her into embrace. Her face lightens up, but not enough to make her eyes crinkle.
Well, hello, Nick. I thought I'd find you here wallowing in your despair. You poor thing. I brought Daisy along, but she was swept away in this madness. Shall we take a walk?
Before I could utter a response, she slips her slender arm through mine, and we descend the marble stairs, sliding under the cover of feathers and trays laden with sparkling glasses of gin. "So, tell me, what do you know about this Mr. Gatsby? I haven't had the chance to take him for the invitation. I've asked around, but it seems like no one has ever seen the man. Say, where'd all these people come from anyway?" I spin around as I hold onto her hand, taking in the lights and how they reflect off the dresses of the flappers.
Oh, Mr. Gatsby? Well, someone told me they thought he killed a man once. There's also the rumor that he was a German spy during the war, but everyone knows that's hogwash. And these people? They come from all over New York just for a taste of some free booze and high-class living. Come, let's get out. Someone has got to explore this grand place. Why not it be us?
I trailed behind her, aimlessly climbing the spiral stairs. We wandered in and out of rooms, admiring the fine furnishings. No two things were the same. Somehow, through all the ins and outs, we ended up in front of an ornate set of doors. Behind them, we uncovered a Gothic library, paneled with carved English oak. Thousands of books lined the shelves, and even more were stacked high on the desk that was centered in the middle of the room.
But you are mistaken, for I am the mysterious Mr. Gatsby. Is that Daisy? Daisy, dear, what on earth?
Now, a word from our sponsor. Today's show is brought to you by Ford Motors. Ford aims to create the perfect machine that will exceed all of your expectations. Buy the new Model T for just $650. Don't just buy it because it's Ford, buy it because it's a better car. Ford, boss of the road. Now back to your feature presentation. She was standing on the ladder in her white party dress, staring in awe at the book she was holding. "Daisy, come down before you hurt yourself." She laughs and stuffs the book back from where it came from, then proceeds to swing down from her perch.
They're real! Can you believe it? All of these glorious books!
She runs her fingers along the spines and pulls one randomly from the shelf.
Come look! Absolutely real! Have pages and everything. I thought they'd be cardboard. Matter of fact, they're absolutely real. No wonder he's got this grand place. He must be a smart gentleman.
After listening to Daisy go on and on about the books, we headed back to the party. People had drifted out into the gardens, and old men were seen pushing and pulling young girls into graceless eternal circles. By the time midnight came around, the gin began to run dry, but people's spirits were in full bloom. Boisterous laughter filled the atmosphere and rose toward the dark summer sky, making the moon rise even higher. The stars seemed to dance along to the beat of the quartet. I sat at a table keeping an eye on Jordan and Daisy, watching them lose themselves to the music. I was so engrossed by the glimmering scene that I didn't notice a man take a seat next to me.
Your face is familiar. Weren't you in the 3rd Division during the war?
Why, yes, I was in the 9th Machine Gun Battalion.
I was in the 7th Infantry until June 1918. I knew I'd seen you somewhere before.
We conversed about our time in the war, reminiscing of those gray little villages in France. He invited me out to try his new hydroplane tomorrow morning. I mentioned to him that I live next door and that this man, Gatsby, sent over his chauffeur with an invitation. As I finished explaining my situation to him, a puzzled look crosses his face, and suddenly he exclaims,
I'm Gatsby. I thought you knew, old sport. I'm afraid I'm not a very good host.
Before I get the chance to apologize for my ignorance, Gatsby's butler hurries towards him with information that Chicago is calling on the wire. He excuses himself with a small bow and tells me that he would return later, and that if I need anything, to just ask for it. Moments later, Daisy and Jordan come back, both giggling uncontrollably and struggling to return their breathing to normal.
So, who lives here anyway?
He's up there. I gestured toward the balcony, where Gatsby can be seen on the phone. He keeps a watchful eye on the gardens below. I just talked to him a moment ago. His name is Gatsby. As if hearing his name, Gatsby turns towards us and locks eyes with me, smiles, but suddenly his eyes widen and places the phone down. He's no longer looking at me. He's looking at Daisy. She does the same.
Gatsby.
I spot Gatsby at the top of the stairs, and from his expression, he seems desperate. I suddenly become aware of Daisy, who is furiously gathering herself together.
You know, it's getting quite late. Would you be a dear and walk me out?
Out of the corner of my eye, I see Gatsby rushing down the stairs to try and reach us. But it's too late. Daisy is pulling Jordan and I out the door as quickly as possible, taking us further and further away from the commotion inside. I turn around one last time and see Gatsby standing there, with his hand outstretched, as if reaching for something that is just out of reach. Thank you for joining us this week on E&A. Tune back in next week to see what happens next in The Great Gatsby.